Welcome back to Tales of Yavad. We are a Mythcraft TCRPG podcast, and this is our first campaign, The Sea's Tale. I am Corey Griffin, and I will be our MC today. And with me today, I have Adam.
Hi, my name is Adam. This is the first ever game of Mythcraft I have ever played, and I am super excited. Cannot wait to get into it.
All right. So, and again, this is the continuation of our prologues, introducing our characters and kind of seeing what they got up to before the start of our tale. And today, our tale begins in quite a unique village. Some would more call it a collection of tree houses, though they wouldn't necessarily be incorrect. And we are kind of zooming into just like an example of a childhood day of yours. So you're probably about 8-ish years old, getting ready to go to school for the first day. And today is also another rare day. Your mother, Queso, is in the village, and she's walking you to school. She says to you, "Well, are you excited?"
Yeah, I'm excited. They said it was a tree, so that teaches us. Is it a big tree? Do we read?
It is a very big tree, and a very smart tree. And it can read, and it can help teach you to read. And it can help teach you to read the stars, or read the ground. It is very, very, very wise. As you know, she continues walking you to a part of the village that is almost directly in the center of the village. Not exactly, it's just off to the right. And there's like almost a small clearing of trees, and in the center stands massive red oak tree. And as you look in at this tree, it almost seems like there's a face in the bark of the tree, and then it blinks.
Okay. When he sees the face, he'll probably like say to his mom, like, "Whoa, that tree's got a big nose!" And then it blinks, goes, "Oh, you said it was a tree."
It is technically a tree.
Trees don't blink, Mom. Do they?
This one's alive.
But I thought all the trees were alive.
This one is more alive than most.
Oh. Huh.
As you and your mom are having this conversation, you take notice now of like a mouth on this tree, and you hear a very deep voice. "Hello, little one. How are you?" Queso.
As soon as the tree starts talking, he immediately does that thing little kids do, where they hide behind their parents' legs and kind of poke their heads out.
Okay. Queso, how has the business been? And she continues to converse with this tree. Almost, and you get this feeling that your mother and this tree work extremely close together.
He also starts getting bored really quickly.
Oh, absolutely. Kids hate it when their parents and their teachers talk about work. As your mind starts to wander, you look over and you do see that Pandora, your older, not oldest sister, is with a small group of her friends.
I will probably start kind of like inching closer. Like I'm still next to Mom, but I'm like inching closer to Pandora. Kind of glancing between Mom and Pandora, seeing if Pandora sees me. Is Mom keeping an eye on me? Like, at what point can I go over there?
I mean, I don't think that your mother notices you wandering off.
Okay.
But I don't think you get that close to Pandora before she notices you.
Okay.
And like all older siblings do, as you come over, she says,
Nope, not while we're here.
But I don't. Okay. Did you know that the tree has a face? And he points at the large red willow.
Of course I did. They're in Aboran. Oh, that's right. So, Aboran are trees, for the most part. But they can also stand, walk, talk, smack you around if you get nosy.
Have you ever seen him eat something? Does he have teeth?
Oh, he definitely has teeth. I mean, I remember my first day. There was this little boy that asked too many questions, and he just gobbled him right up.
It's not funny, Pandora. It's not funny. No, he didn't.
she chuckles and she says,
I guess you're just a little too smart for my tricks anymore, aren't you?
He kind of narrows his eyes because, like, he thinks, like, her saying that there's got to be some kind of trick here, but he doesn't know what it is.
and your sister kind of smiles at you, and then you hear your mother call for you, and it is Goraan, come back over here. Leave your sister be for the moment.
Okay, he goes quickly, ears kind of down a little bit, like he got in trouble. He kind of quickly walks back over. Sorry, Mom.
No, you're fine. So, Goraan, this is Miser. She kind of points to the tree. Miser, this is my youngest, Goraan.
Good morning.
Good morning, little one. Are you excited to learn today?
Yes. He kind of like side eyes his mom real quickly. Yes, I'm very excited to learn today.
Wonderful. I do believe that more of the children of your age will be arriving soon.
Okay.
And pretty much as he says that, you see a little girl. Again, just like everyone in this village, they are an Urkel. But she is very much not accompanied by her mother, which to you seems very strange. Because every time something super important has ever happened in your life, your mother has always been there.
Right. Does she come up to me or just kind of come into the area?
She just kind of comes into the area. She is glancing around, kind of looking. She looks just as scared as you felt. Maybe even more.
Okay. Goraan will walk up, introduce himself. Hi, I'm Goraan. It's my first day.
It's I'm Sarah. It's my first day too. My dad said I had to come here. Do you know where the teacher is?
He'll point to Miser. It's that tree.
No, it's not.
He can move. He can move and talk and stuff, and he has teeth, but I don't think he eats people.
Prove it.
Okay, I'll be right back. And he quickly goes over to Miser.
No, she would follow you. It's
okay.
not going to be a be right back situation. You head that way.
Okay.
She would follow, almost like I don't remember if Goraan wears a shirt or not.
I did not say, but I would imagine if that is the more...
For you guys, it's more personal choice. Like, what would you want? Because you have the fur as well.
I feel like he wouldn't wear a shirt until, it became socially apparent that he might want to wear a shirt.
Okay. So he's probably not wearing a shirt at the moment.
Right.
So she all but grabs your elbow, is how close she is following behind you.
Okay. I mean, he's got two older sisters, so I imagine at some point they all were close like this, so it probably doesn't bother him. And he goes up, and they go up to Miser.
Okay. And she's like,
See, there's no... I don't see no teeth. It just looks like a face.
and then
Yeah, because his mouth isn't open.
Miser says,
Hello, little one. And what is your name?
and she screams.
Goraan probably does that thing that kids do where it's really funny that she got scared for a minute, so he laughs, and then he kind of feels bad, and he also knows his mom is there, and so there's a little bit of genuine empathy, and also a little bit oh, mom's probably not going to be happy that I thought that was funny.
Right.
And he says, Mr. Miser, this is Sarah. It's her first day too.
Hello, little one.
Yeah, they didn't tell me it was a tree. He didn't tell me, he just told me to be here.
Little one, it is okay. We are all the same in my grove. We are all here to learn.
And she seems to sniffle a little bit. She's like, okay. Now, your mom would, at this point, come over to you and say, I need to go to the office, so I will see you. Well, Megan will probably pick you and Pandora up. Okay?
Okay, Mom.
And then she turns around and leaves. There are two more Urkow children that show up.
Okay.
Theodore and Rose. Rose seems like she's been in the grove before.
Okay.
And when Rose shows up, she also shows up with her 7 other siblings that are each a year or 3 older than her.
Okay.
So she is not surprised by the tree.
Okay.
Theodore, though, once Miser spoke, Theodore ran out of the grove,
Okay.
eventually coming back. And these are your 4 classmates.
Okay.
For the progenitor of the time.
Gotcha.
The end of the day comes. And you see your oldest sister, Megan. She comes in, sees you, she sees Pandora. She calls you both over to her. This is not anything you're not used to.
Right. I'll say bye to Sarah, Theodore, and Rose. And Miser, I'm sure he's there. And then I'll run over to Megan.
Yep. So Megan is like,
All right, we are hoping Mother will be home for dinner, but we don't know.
Okay.
and then she will take you guys home, which you live in a relatively nice house, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, yes. Not opulent, but
Nice. I mean, you're living in a rather well-maintained, nice treehouse.
yes.
And I kind of imagine that sometimes you like just standing outside on like the deck of the treehouse.
Mm-hmm. If he can get away with it, he'll climb some of the branches too.
So I think today you're up in your branches, and you see Sarah, who keeps walking. She walks out past your house in a direction that you've been told you shouldn't go.
Okay. Now, have they told him specifically, or
No,
like,
it's like you
they-
should not go this way. This is
okay? Like nobody
no,
should go
It's
that
like
way.
this is a bad neighborhood. Goraan, stay out.
Okay. Okay. He'll call.
Oh, hi, Goron.
Hello. That we're not supposed to go that way.
Well, my home's that way.
Wait, hold on. And then he'll climb down the tree and he'll go try and find Megan.
I mean,
Or he won't try. No, because he'll go down and over to Sarah.
okay.
Wait. But everyone lives in this part. That part's scary.
It's not that scary. I mean, yeah, sometimes the people aren't too nice, but it's not that scary.
Huh. Well, okay, hold on. And he'll go, and if Megan is like nearby, he'll go up to her. But if she's like far in the house,
I mean, Megan is probably lounging in the front row.
okay, he'll go to Megan. Megan.
Yes.
Megan, Sarah is going to the the bad, scary place.
Who is Sarah?
Oh, she's in the grove, with me and Theodore and Rose.
What's her last name? You would actually know that Sarah was the only one that did not give her last name.
Okay. Hold on, and he'll run back out, and assuming she is still there, he'll go, Sarah, what's your last name?
Thief Spawn.
Okay, hang on a sec, and he'll run back and go, her last name is Thief Spawn.
You see Megan's expression change. Like, before it was one of my little brother is being annoying, and it has now become my little brother's in danger. She says, I don't want you hanging around her.
Why?
They aren't good people.
No, she's nice. She was scared of Miser.
Everyone's scared of Miser.
I wasn't scared of Miser.
Goraan, go to your room.
But I
Go.
didn't do anything. And he kind of sullenly slinks over to his room.
And you, as you're closing the door to your room, you see Megan going outside.
So stupid. He's going to listen at the door if he can, or at the window if there is one, to try and hear what's going on.
Give me some form of awareness.
I got a 9.
The only thing that you hear is you hear your sister yell, "And stay away from my brother."
Okay.
And then you hear Megan come back into the house.
Okay. He will very quickly move away from the window and act like he was really the first object he can grab, that he was doing something with it, just in case she comes into the room.
She does not actually come into the room.
Okay.
But the time seems to click on, and it starts to be about supper time. Eventually, you do get called from your room to the dinner table.
Yeah.
It's your mother that calls you.
Okay. Her tone of voice, does it sound normal or does it sound like different?
It is different. It is not "you're in trouble." It is not.
Then he will be excited because Mom doesn't always eat with us. So he'll, a little cautiously because it's still a little off, but also Mom's home. So he'll come down the stairs pretty quickly and say, "Hi, Mom."
Hello, darling. Hello. How was school?
It was good. I met Sarah and Theodore and Rose, and we learned some stuff from Mr. Miser the Tree.
All right. That is good. That is good. And what is Theodore's last name?
Rosebud. Rosebud.
And Rose's?
Rose. Guard Hollow. Because I couldn't make it funny.
And what is Sarah's?
Despawn.
As soon as you say that, her face changes, and she says, "You need to be careful around thieves' spawns. They're not like us. They live on the outer edge."
I mean, she looked like us.
Yes, they do. However, people with that name are descendants of people who have done very, very bad things. And I do not want you hanging around this Sarah. At school only.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I made your favorite dinner.
He gets super excited and immediately goes to sit at the table.
And what is his favorite dinner at this point?
Oh, Lord. Probably something covered in honey. And, I don't know if they're vegetarians or not. I would imagine meat is not something they would maybe considering.
Urcal at large are not. People in Treemount, however, I'm not going to say if your family is or isn't. It's not uncommon, though.
Okay, I would imagine if most Urcal are not, then they probably aren't either.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be something like sweet, because that's the only flavor that matters when you're 8 years old.
Right. So it's probably like this super heavy honeyed, honey glazed chicken.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, like a honey glazed chicken with some like honey glazed fruit and stuff on the side.
So we are gonna do a bit of a fast forward narration here.
Okay.
You continue going to school, like all good Urcal children do in Treemount.
Right.
Sarah continues going to school.
Okay.
the four of you, Sarah, Theodore, and Rose,
Yep.
and yourself, all become quite good friends.
Okay.
While you're at school. The one kind of question that I have for you is, do you heed your mother's advice?
I think if the four of us are friends, and like all four of us are all friends with each other, then
Mm-hmm.
if we spend time together outside of school, I won't say to my mom that I, hung out with Sarah and Theodore and Rose, but I'll just say like either, yeah, me, Theodore, and Rose hung out, or like, yeah, me and my friends went and hung out and stuff. But like, I'm not going to.
Okay.
If she hasn't done anything to sort of earn that.
No, absolutely, she has not.
Yeah, then yeah, if I don't think she's a bad person, then I'm going to ignore what everybody else has said so far.
Okay. So a couple years do go by. Your mom has caught you hanging out with all three of them a time or two, and it always boils down to roughly the same conversation. You can't trust them, and they're going to make, and don't do it again. Not that it ever works when you tell a child don't do a thing, but 3 years will pass before, at one point, your mother comes home from her job, and she is the representative for Arctic, for Treemount.
Right.
She sits on the council, and she does her best to, one would say, mitigate some of the more imperialistic forces on the council. She has not been very successful.
Right. And if it's been a few years, I imagine that being a little older and closer to adulthood for Urkow, I've probably sort of developed similar views as my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to take at least some interest in what her stance is, because it does speak to me a bit.
Right. And it is very much echoed in your teachings in the Grove as one of the core tenets that Miser teaches is having balance in the world.
Right.
And being one with nature and doing things. But on this particular return trip, she comes back with a Urkow girl. By this time, Pandora has actually graduated school. She's no longer going to school.
Lucky.
Because she's quite a few years older. But you're also no longer walked to and from school.
Right.
That only lasted about 2 weeks, as you remember it. But your mom brings home this girl who is only 3 years older than you.
Okay.
And she has an extremely haunted look in her eyes.
Okay.
And some very rough bruising that you can see. But when she turns around, a trait that you take notice of rather quickly is anytime someone talks to her, she will turn her entire body to look at them.
Okay.
And on one of these occasions where she turned her back to you, you see bruises and scars all up and down her back.
Okay. The bruising looks very old, though, correct?
It's very faded. It's almost gone, but it's not. It's there.
That's what I figured. Just want to make sure he connects. Like, okay, that happened before Mom.
Yes, absolutely. It happened before Mom took her in.
Okay.
And your mom introduces her as, "This is Mabel, not forgotten."
Hi, I'm Goraan.
Your mother gives you this hand gesture of like continue. Like she's been trying to get you to introduce yourself fully for a while now.
Oh, yeah. There's sort of that. He doesn't say that out loud, but there's sort of like that, like internal, like, oh, right. My name is Goran Stormclaw. It is a pleasure to meet you.
And she turns back to face you. Uh, yeah, the pleasure is mine. Um, yeah. Um, you have a very lovely home. And as she's talking, you notice that she almost like grasps her own hands in front of her, which for you isn't. You've never seen someone do this before.
Kind of starting to connect some dots a little bit. He like it kind of catches him off guard, and he sort of makes a confused like what face for a second, and then like fixes it, hoping his mom didn't see him do that. And then kind of glancing at mom, just would are you hungry? Would you like? Or is that
She, your mom, starts speaking. She will be staying with us for a while.
okay?
She was rescued from Ted.
Oh, how much does Goran know about that?
I mean, you've been studying the world for quite a while. You do know that they are. Terra is one of the islands in the Talul Island chain. That is pretty much
Okay.
the center of the world.
Right. Okay.
But your specialization is geography, not necessarily history. So like you could point at it on a map, but that's about it.
Right.
You would know it would take like 2 weeks, maybe even 3, just to get here from there.
Okay. Oh, all right. Please, because they're inside, correct?
Yeah.
Right, please make yourself at home. Would you like something to eat or drink or?
We can if people want drinks, I can help. And your mother just puts her hand on her shoulder, and she would say, "We will wait for dinner. It will only be a little while yet until your father is ready."
All right. Where is she staying?
Megan will be getting her own tree. So she will be staying in Megan's room.
Did Goran know about that already?
No.
Oh. Okay. All right. Oh. Is she? Are you staying in Megan's room tonight?
I don't need much room. I mean, I can go outside and sleep on the ground if it's that much of a. And again, your mother touches her shoulder, and she says, "We will make her a place to stay tonight. Tomorrow, we will be moving Megan into her tree. And then we will be moving Mabel here into Megan's room."
Okay. Is Megan at home right now, or is she out?
Megan is at home, and as you look over to Megan, Megan didn't know she was getting a tree tomorrow.
Okay. Because he felt a little betrayed, and then he sees Megan's face, and like, there's that little bit of relief because, like, okay, so she wasn't keeping it from me, but also, why is she getting her own tree? All right.
And Mabel, or your mother, continues and says, Mabel will be joining you at school tomorrow.
Okay.
I know that she is a
Okay.
bit older than you are. However, I fear that she will be joining your class.
Okay.
I don't mean to be a bother. I just, and once again your mother cuts her off of saying, it will not be any bother, dear. It is our joy to be able to help you with what you have endured.
Yes. Welcome to our home and your new home, and I am sure that this will be a very warm and positive experience.
It can't be any worse than where I was before. She still seems to be making herself appear as small as possible, which again is very much against everything you're used to.
Right. See, he wouldn't call that out because I feel like that would just make things worse.
Right. I'm just making sure you're getting all of the.
No, he's no, he's struggling to figure out how to proceed because this is definitely not something he ever thought would happen ever, and so like trying to welcome her to the home without overwhelming her with stuff or causing any sort of reaction.
I get it. And is the level of panic that's in your voice right now also kind of on Goron's face?
100%. He's all of the pauses are him actually trying to figure out what to say in real time.
Your mother's going to throw you a bone, and she's going to say, why don't you go see if your father needs any assistance?
Yes, I will do that. I will go and speak with Father. Again, welcome, Mabel, and I'm sure you will enjoy dinner. And he will turn and he will go find Dad.
Okay. Your dad is in what you seem to believe, and it's probably not inaccurate to say, is in his favorite room of the house. He is in the kitchen.
Okay.
And your dad sees you come into the kitchen, and he says, "Did you meet her?"
Yes, I did do that. Yes. What is happening?
She's gonna stay with us.
Mom said that.
Goraan, there are some not nice people in this world. And like he's saying this while he's cutting up fruit, right? So almost every other word is pronounced with a chop of the knife hitting a cutting board.
Goraan flinches every time a little bit. It seems, yes, I am more and more learning that. Do you need help with anything?
Were you struggling?
Were you not?
We stand on protocol because it tells us how to interact. Not chop because it's easy. You're having this conversation with your father, and you've been in the kitchen while he's cooked before. This is very different. Your father is upset.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay,
yeah, he seemed frustrated at least.
You want to give me some kind of awareness roll? We'll see if I can give you more or not.
I'd love to, yes. Let's see what we got going down. Okay. Boop. That's better.
So, as you know, for the most part, Treemount is a matriarchal society.
Right.
While you don't believe that your father would have turned away the girl, you do get the feeling like he wasn't even consulted.
Okay.
He's not frustrated at you. He's not even frustrated at the situation. He's just seems to be frustrated. And his knives definitely seem to be taking the brunt of that frustration. Well, the knife and the cutting board.
Right. I mean, it's what do you think about, and he'll kind of gesture towards the room where Mabel and Mom are, that while he's helping however he can.
Yeah. So he's probably having you wash the fruit as he cuts it up.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And your father's like, we shouldn't be sending Megan out to create room for another. But
Yeah,
it will be good for Megan to have her own space. She is almost 30. Perhaps she can find a guy, and we can have more Stormclaws.
do I know how interested Megan is in actually doing that? Like, as her brother, like, is that like one of the things she is?
She's not against it,
Like-
but she's not actively like,
Right, but she's not
yeah.
on the hunt. Okay.
Much to your mother's chagrin.
Right. What is Megan? What is her main focus at the moment?
Megan is a tree singer. She goes to outskirts of the forest and helps the younger trees grow.
Okay.
It is one of the most prestigious jobs in Treemount, but it is a job.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice for her to have her own space and stuff. I know she likes singing to the trees and whatnot. She could practice more, I guess, without bothering everyone.
Oh, you think your sister is a bother now? Chop.
No. That is not what I meant to say. That is, she has the voice of an angel, is what I meant to say, and she can sing to her heart's content without being concerned that I can't put the shovel down. I
think it might be better if you just stop talking.
I think so too. And he just starts washing fruit.
You and your father put together this mostly fruit, tossed in some honey, meal. You don't have any chickens this time, but fruit and honey is
Okay.
an amazing meal.
Yeah.
As you're sitting down to the table, I'm gonna ask the question, like, who are you looking at?
Oh man. Unsuccessfully trying to look at nobody. Definitely glancing between Mom and Dad, because I know there's some friction there. Glancing at Mabel, because I am convinced that when we go into the room, she's going to be doing something like standing in a corner or against a wall or something instead of sitting at the table. Considering
Yes.
the evidence that I have. So he's going to try and make sure she's actually sitting down and just looking to see how mom and dad are doing.
So, like, when you first come into the room, because I kind of picture your father gave you the bowl to carry in, and he's carrying the plates behind you. Yeah, Mabel is definitely not sitting down until after you put the food down. And then your mother says, you know, come sit. And she's like, yeah. Okay. And then she would take a seat, but she's sitting in such a way that at the drop of a hat, she could be standing.
Okay.
Like, have you ever watched someone sit down but expect to have to run? Like, perched on the edge of the seat?
Yeah. Knees bent, ready to go. Yeah, 100%. All right. Jeez. Yeah, I'll put the bowl down, and then I'll help Dad pass the plates around, and... Jeez. Trying to be helpful, because this is not the best situation, and things could probably have gone better, but here we are. If there's an open spot, he will sit next to Mabel.
Yes, there is.
Okay, yeah, he'll sit next to Mabel. And
something you would notice. Normally, your mother sits at the head of the table with your father on her right and Margaret on her left. Your father sits on the other end of the table.
okay. All right. Not ideal, but they're both at the table, so you know what? That's something. Okay.
You would recognize this as your father's way of telling your mother he's mad at her without it being a scene.
Yeah, no, 100%. That immediately, Goraan starts internally sweating. Like, oh, okay, we are at danger level 4. All right. Okay. What? This is a weird question. The chairs, if they are chairs, do they have cushions? Are they soft? Are they just like carved out of wood?
I'm gonna throw this question back at you because your family is that level of being good enough off that if you think it would be a priority of your mother's to have cushions on the chair, then there's cushions on the chair.
I feel like the cushions only come out for certain occasions.
And they are out.
Seeing that Mabel is
in your father's seat.
Mabel's in Dad's seat.
Again, she only sat down after your dad did, and it was the only relatively open chair, but she did take your father's seat.
Okay.
Dinner is particularly awkward, but as you are glancing back and forth between mom, dad, and Mabel, you would take notice of Mabel she took a bite of the fruit and then is almost acting like she's never had honey before. Which I don't know how Goraan feels about that.
Is she acting like it's gross or like it's just...
No, it is absolutely amazing.
Okay, so like full wide-eyed small child.
Yeah.
Like I have learned the secret of... Okay, gotcha.
And she will comment on, this is so very, very good. Thank you all. You all have been so kind to me.
Yes, it's been my favorite meal as long as I can remember. Our father actually made the meal. She
gets a dumbfounded look on her face, but she will, again, her entire body shifts as she looks at him and says, "Thank you. Thank you so much."
Just internally, Goran's just, did that help or did that make it worse? Did that help or did that make it worse? Looking at Dad.
You know your father. Your father is very guarded with his emotions and is very subtle, tonight being one of the exclusions with his feelings.
100%.
But you would almost describe it as you're watching your father's heart break.
Okay, so then, all right.
It's definitely helping, right?
Okay, good. Okay.
I don't mean to tell you how you feel, but
No, instantly, significantly more relieved and less wound so tight. Just okay. Everything's going better. Everything's getting. All right, we can do this. We can make this work.
all right. Now, just like I did last time, I'm going to do a little bit of a fast forwarding here.
Okay, not a problem.
You do take her to school.
I will pause before we get to the Grove and explain that the teacher, Mr. Miser, is a tree person.
By this point, you have learned his nickname, which is Old Wood.
Oldwood, okay. Okay, yeah, then I'll tell her Oldwood Miser, because I wouldn't think about it, is a Red Willow Arborean. He is a living tree person.
She seems to take that in a surprisingly high level of stride.
Okay. Internally, his first thought is, "Oh, so that's fine." Okay, and just like and talk a little bit about Theodore and Rose and Sarah, and like just to sort of prime Mabel.
She
And
listens to you with such rapt attention that it almost makes you uncomfortable.
it definitely is a little, yeah. Okay. So when we go in, just try to greet them as equals. We are all students in the Grove, and we are all the same.
She nods. Again, giving you that kind of strange behavior.
Yeah. I also imagine anytime anybody moved quickly for any reason, she flinched.
Yeah.
So he tries to keep his movements slow and deliberate. And so he turns around slowly, and he gestures for her to continue following, and they enter the Grove.
Yep. Very quickly, Mabel does integrate to society extremely well.
Okay.
She is an extremely adept student.
Okay.
She, again, due to some things, she is very quick to remember things and even faster to offer services if they're ever requested.
Okay.
But
That's heartbreaking.
yeah, that's hard to break, but
It's heartbreaking
Oh,
too, a little bit.
yeah. But she does seem to get along with the four of you.
Okay.
At the end of the school year, when you all are 14, Oldwood Miser gives each of you an acorn.
Okay.
And he says,
Being in balance with nature is paramount. However, being in balance with yourself and those around you is even more important. What I want you all to try and attempt is, this is the last test for most of you. I'm going to see if there are any tree singers among you.
and you've been instructed in how to do it before. It has always been theoretical until this point. No one has tried
Right.
to do it. You take this acorn into your hands and you recite the words, you do the prayer, and just at the edge, it sprouts.
I think Goraan very quickly took a liking, like really found that the natural side of the studies, which I imagine was probably a good portion of them, but he really has always enjoyed those.
Mhm.
And knowing that this little ceremony was coming, he had hoped that maybe something would happen, but because like he hasn't tried it, he got close I think a couple times. Like he would grab an acorn and like either try to work up the courage or maybe even once or twice start saying the words, but then he'd always stop because
Because it's a rite of passage to happen at the end of your schooling.
and like what if something happens, but also what if nothing happens?
Mhm.
And so it's like that, like I don't want to know until I have to know.
It is easy to do in the group of your peers when there were many years since the last tree singer.
Right.
Right. So it's easy to get rejection in mass.
Yeah. And so when it does sprout, he kind of freezes for a second. And like it doesn't the cogs sort of stop for a second and then it goes again. And so after like he freezes, he starts smiling and laughing a little bit. And then he like holds it closer to like inspect it and really look at what is growing and how much. And
As you inspect it, right? You studied this, right? You have the expected amount of growth out of
Okay.
a fledgling tree singer.
Okay.
But as you look around at your friends,
Yeah.
you also notice that Sarah is also holding an acorn with sprouts.
Okay.
But where your face has jubilation almost, hers is horrified.
Okay. And I think that takes the wind out of his sails a little bit because like he sees the acorn and is about to like, go in for congratulations and everything. And then he sees that she's horrified. And like, is that something I would have expected her reaction to be, knowing her for so long?
You would know that her family, it was her mother, was very much guilty of stealing magics and using occult rituals to steal the magics of others.
Okay.
So, and that is especially since, Megan is a tree singer. Eventually, you understood why your mom and sister had their reaction, especially when you found that out.
Right. Okay. Okay. I think I'm guessing Theodore and Rose just have regular acorns.
Yes.
What about Mabel?
Regular acorn.
Okay.
You would also know that like Pandora also had a regular acorn.
I figured as much. Yeah. He'll walk over to Sarah. And
What am I gonna do? They're gonna accuse me of being a thief, just like. What am I gonna do?
is there any way? No, there's not a way to swap the acorn. So I was gonna say I could just we could try and swap it for a regular one, but I don't think that would work.
No, you know what? I'm gonna be a tree singer.
All right, we will both be tree singers.
And
I'll pick mine up.
that is wonderful. I will earn a new name. One that I can say with pride.
I will help any way I can. And I know Theodore and Rose will, and Mabel as well.
You guys have shown me that I don't have to live in the shadow of my mother's misdeeds.
Is her mom alive?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
It is not a pleasant existence.
I'm sure. But I just wanted to make sure.
Because the tree singers who had their powers stolen took their revenge.
Yeah, that's
Once it stopped getting stolen.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Um,
So it was temporary. Nobody lost it permanently.
it was not lost permanently, but
Okay.
there was a time, and again, like you may not have paid a whole lot of attention during history portion of school, but there was a time where people thought the power of tree singing was dying out
Okay.
because of
This one person. Okay. Yeah, no, that tracks. That makes sense. Okay. I think that you have been given this gift to prove that you are your own person, and how much do I know about the primal source?
I mean, you know quite a bit of it.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, at this point, this is your introduction to primal magic.
Right, but we know that it's connected to the Everwilds and such. Okay.
If it is theoretical in primal magic, you understand it at this point.
Okay.
I mean, you've been going to school for it for the last 6 years.
Sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. We all know the Everwilds are chaotic and fickle, and
Well, yes. However, I think you're right. At this point, I think that the Everwilds are giving me a chance at having a name worth passing on.
yes. I do not believe you would have been given this gift if it was not meant to be yours.
Thank you, Goraan,
Now,
for always being my friend.
of course, there was never any reason not to. Now, let's go rub it in Theodore and Rose's faces.
Let's.
Yeah, and he'll be a little cheeky and
Yeah. And obviously, Miser will take notice of two tree singers,
right.
and It is spread across Treemount that there are 2 new tree singers.
Right on.
Your father knows about it before you even get home. Okay. And again, a little bit more fast forwarding here, because we do still have one
I know.
kind of big thing that we need to get through.
Oh boy.
So you do continue to go to the Grove with Sarah.
Okay.
And Sarah is given the name Oak Speaker,
Nice. Okay.
as she is no longer just a thief's spawn. And it is a happy day. Mabel starts to go back and forth to the capital with your mother, acting as your mother's aide.
Good for her.
Mabel has seemed to relax on some of the idiosyncrasies a bit, though she is still very quick to jump and do what is asked of her, which makes her an amazing aide.
Right.
I almost said a name, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was the right name. Megan, over the next couple of years, has a husband, or gets a husband,
Oh.
and starts to have children. She has one girl at the point that we're going to open back up to.
Okay.
You have been working as a tree singer alongside Sarah and Megan and the rest of the tree singers for quite some time now. Probably about a year and a half since you were told you can go start singing to trees now.
Nice.
And you're working the part of the forest along the road to the capital.
Yep.
And your mother and Mabel have been gone for a couple weeks, which is normal. And off in the distance, you see a draft turtle drawn cart.
Okay.
Which is a very, very large turtle. The top of its shell is a little bit taller than you are. They're not slow. They're not as fast as a horse, but they're probably a little bit faster than a mule.
Okay.
And sitting on this cart is Mabel.
Okay. Yeah, he'll raise his hand, wave, and Mabel, it was wonderful to see you.
Are you getting closer to her?
I imagine if I'm like not actively growing a tree at the moment, then yeah, I'll probably start walking towards her to say hi. And
as she takes notice of you, you take notice of the tears pouring down her cheeks.
he'll stop. Mabel, is everything all right?
Goraan, get Megan. Come home.
All right. All right. Is everything all right? Where's mother?
Everything's not all right. Get Megan and come home.
Okay. All right, and he'll go do that.
You would know that Megan and your mother didn't leave on a cart.
Right.
They never leave on a cart. They never come back on a cart.
Right. Yeah. This is confusing, and he's very concerned. And he's going to go find Megan as quickly as possible.
It does not take you long to find Megan. She seems to be taking a couple minutes to get a drink of water between singing to trees when you show up.
Megan,
Yes?
so something's wrong.
What do you mean?
I mean, Mabel is on a draft turtle drawn cart and seems to have been crying very heavily and said, "We need to go home because something is very wrong."
She takes off running.
Yeah, he runs too.
Mabel beats you back, but not by much.
Okay.
She's still climbing down from the wagon, and goes to the ladder to climb up to the treehouse.
Yeah, I imagine we burst. We show up. Mabel,
This
what is going on?
this might be this is gonna be better if I tell everyone at once. Come inside.
All right. I'll have Megan go first, and then I'll go after her, and we'll go in. And I'll shoot a very concerned look at Megan while we do.
Megan has an equally concerned look on her face, going back to you. And when you go inside, you notice that Mabel went and got your father, had him sit down, got Pandora, had her sit down. And as you guys come in, she's like, "Please, have a seat."
All right. I'll sit down. Very cautious, very wary, very concerned.
Megan will also sit down, and Mabel will say, "Queso is dead."
What? What?
There was an attack. We were in Deepport, and there was a raid by some pirates, and she didn't make it.
No. What pirates? What?
It's not the first time that I've met them. Aegis and his Windwalkers are the ones that stole me the first time. And when I saw that flag on that ship, I told her we needed to leave. She said we'd be fine. Told her we needed to leave.
What? No, that's no. No, okay, no, that's.
Her body's in that cart. I did not know what you all would want done, because I was told you bury your own in the forest. So I took the draft turtle, found a wagon that worked, I loaded her up and I brought her back.
What happened?
You shot her. You shot her because I froze up. I saw him. And the only thing I could think of was he was going to put another collar on my throat, and I froze up.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And then he shot her.
And
As she pushed me, he shot her. So I hid. Until they were gone so I could bring her back.
okay. All right. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No. You did not do anything wrong. This was not your fault.
can't go back to Trier or Monster.
No. No. No, your home is here. You are staying here. He's going to look at everyone else.
Your father is crying. Silently.
Yeah. Yeah. I am. Tears are definitely streaming down Goran's face right now. He's.
Pandora seems to be in shock, and Megan, who you would know this, Megan's now in charge of the family.
Right.
She was raised from the time she was born until now, understanding that she was going to be in charge of the family.
Right. I'm going to turn to her.
What, Goraan? Her voice. You're used to your sister's voice being almost as steely as your mother's,
Right.
but it's bending. It's not quite breaking, but it's bending.
Okay.
We need to bury her in the forest. Mabel, you did so well.
Yes. Yes. You did what Mother would have wanted you to do. You did the right thing by hiding. None of this is your fault, Mabel.
You take notice. She is doing something she hasn't done in a very long time. She is standing while the rest of you are sitting. And she has her hands kind of interlocked in front of her.
I'm gonna have her sit down. I'm gonna gently, slowly, carefully, because I remember this. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to guide her to my chair. I'm going to have her sit down. I'm going to look her in the eyes. Mother protected you as she would have protected any of her children, any of her other children. You are family as much as any of us. You did nothing wrong. This is not your fault.
Goraan, I froze.
Yes.
If I wouldn't have froze, she might not.
Do not spiral down that path. Mabel, you...
Goraan, I've been spiraling down that path for a week.
Then you need to come back. Any of us would have frozen had we gone through half of the things you have been through in your life. You are still here. Because you survived those things. And because Mother loved you as much as she loved the rest of us.
I am here because of two different people. The largest cow man I have ever seen. And your mother. Maybe if he went, maybe if I went to Trier, I could find him again. I can't go back. I can't.
No. I'm going to go there.
Megan speaks up and she says, "No, you are not. At least not until after the funeral."
Of course, I would not be so brash or consumed with that I would leave immediately. We must see to Mother and ensure that she is laid to rest properly and that her family is there to see her off. And then I'm going to go find the man that did this, and I'm going to make him pay for it. Nature requires balance.
Your sister looks at you. This is very different than you've ever been with your sister before. This is very different than most men in Treemount would ever be with any of their older sisters. And she says, let us lay Mother to rest, and then we'll talk about it.
All right. All right.
Now, that evening, the entire town shows up while you bury Queso.
Right. Yeah, if she had a favorite, I don't know about a favorite spot, because is there a cemetery or?
So mostly what you guys do is you will bury a body into the outer ring, wherever the outer ring of the forest is, so that the dying body can feed the new trees.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Okay.
So yeah, like if she had a favorite spot, then we'll try and bury her there or close to it. I
don't know if she had a favorite spot that you could actually bury her.
Okay, then we'll bury her somewhere that we feel she would like.
Yep. Which is perfectly fine. Your mother was, for all intents and purposes, she was a people person and a leader. Her balance was very different than your balance.
Right.
However, everyone in the village is there.
Okay.
Everyone. And that has not happened in your lifetime. You've been to funerals. Your mother would make it a point that her entire family went to every funeral because your mother saw all of them as family.
I think he does too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Goraan takes the time to thank everybody that he can for coming and seeing her off. And he also tries to make sure that Mabel is not bombarded, but also not like isolated.
No. So, for the most part, Sarah, Theodore, and Rose are definitely helping you with that.
Okay. Perfect.
Again, the five of you had become quite close friends during what would have been 3 years of schooling. And you stayed friends for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, though, Theodore and Rose and Sarah come over. Mabel kind of trailing behind them just a little bit. Maybe a half a step. But it's enough that you take notice.
Right.
And Rose will say, "So you're leaving then?"
Yes.
Sarah comes over to you and takes out a locket and hands it to you. And she says, "Keep this safe."
All right.
Do you look inside the locket?
Do I get the feeling she wants me to?
Yes. Yes. She wants you to look into it.
Yeah, I'll open it.
Inside is a professional sketch of your mother.
Oh boy, tears start streaming down his face, and he looks at it for as long as he can manage to, and then closes it softly, holds it up to his chest, and just nods.
And she will touch your shoulder in an extremely caring way and say, "Make sure you come back to me."
I'll be back. I'll come back.
Theodore will walk up to you and hand you a pouch. Well, Rose hands you a pouch first, and then Theodore. Inside the pouch from Rose is some silver pieces, and she says, "You're gonna need these for the road." And Theodore hands you another pouch, and inside you find, and he says, "And this is for the boredom." Inside is a set of 7 dice One is a cube, one is a pyramid.
Uh-huh.
The rest are strange polyhedral shapes.
Okay.
And he says, "We have faith in you."
Thank you. I am truly so glad that I met you all and we've become such close friends. You all are as much my family as my family.
It has been an honor to know you,
You all as well.
and I do not want this to be the end.
It will not.
And then he moves to the side. He does not touch you. Mabel comes to stand in front of you. Over the years, you have kind of outgrown her a little bit. She's a couple inches shorter than you now. When you guys met, she's a couple inches taller. Now she's a little bit shorter.
Yes, not the shortest anymore.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's a bone of contention. You're even taller than Pandora.
And I make sure that she knows that every chance I get.
Mm-hmm. And she says, I have some friends. I can get you to Monster. From there, you're gonna have to look for Aegis and his Windwalkers on your own. If you ever come across your Selly, he is a much nicer man than he appears.
All right. I'll keep that in mind.
And she hugs you.
I hug her back. Absolutely.
This is the first time she has ever initiated physical contact that you've ever seen.
And like I full hug back, absolutely. And then just after a second, just going to make this right.
No, she says. You're going to bring balance. Nothing you do will make it right.
That is true.
And she hands you some parchment with some names written on it.
Okay. I will. Yeah, I'll tuck that away.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the funeral's winding down and over and stuff, I'll start grabbing things to go.
I mean, this was everyone else other than like Margaret and her husband's family are kind of gathered together. Pandora and your father are kind of gathered together, and then you and your friends are here, along with Mabel. They would have only done this here after everyone else left.
Okay, then yeah, I will. Once everything is done, I will grab my things. I will say goodbye to Pandora and say goodbye to my father. I will say goodbye to Megan, and I will, unless somebody were to stop me, take the turtle.
Megan starts to.
Okay.
You were getting your things together, and she was standing by the turtle.
Right.
And she says, "I can't let you leave. Goraan, I can't lose you too."
I was being ready for like an angry confrontation, relaxes and puts a hand on her shoulder gently. And I know. And I know that this is painful in ways that none of us can even speak. The pain is so deep, so profound. Words would fail to describe it, but I feel it as well in the deepest part of me that this is unbalanced. Fundamentally, this is an affront. And the scales must be reset. This Aegis must be balanced against what he has done.
Goraan, don't make me bury you before I bury Father.
No, I will not. I will not be falling. I will return, balance restored.
And you get a rare hug from Megan.
And again, full hug back.
Mm-hmm. I look forward to seeing you.
Yes, I will be counting the days until I'm back.
And don't forget your Stormclaw.
Always.
And then she will help you up onto the cart and hand you the reins.
Okay.
And you will take off.
Yep.
You start traveling down the road. You know Deep-Port, even though it was recently raided, probably going to be your best chance at finding a ship to Munster. You know not a short journey, about a week to Deep-Port, and as you travel along, the cart does break, and eventually, instead of trying to fix the cart, you decide expedience is more important, and you hop onto the turtle and just ride the turtle. You continue into Deep-Port. You find a ship with a lively captain who is actually on his way to Banya, but he will be stopping at Monster on his way there. So he will drop you off at Monster. You are on his ship. When you guys dock, you get off the boat. He says, "Well, if you ever need any help, you know how to find old Captain Milo."
Thank you again, Captain. It has been a pleasure to sail with you these last 2 weeks.
You did help us out a good bit in that storm. Getting through, helping my navigator out. I do appreciate it.
Of course, this is the least I could do.
As you climb down onto the dock, you look at the people and you see a panther-like Ketek arguing with a satyr. Hey, what do you want?
Hello, my name is Les. You can call me Les. I have come looking for the Windwalkers.
The Windwalkers, you say? I mean, do you see the gem of the sea in dock? No, the gem ain't here. Like, the Maiden's Glory ain't here either. Neither is the Golden Globe, Matriarch's Sail, or the World's End. Those are the 5 ships of the Windwalkers. You see them anywhere nearby? No, you don't see them nowhere. Thank you for listening to our prologue, A Bear's Tale. We are all excited for the first tale to begin next week. We hope you enjoyed listening and would love it if you let us know. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and even TikTok. The link to our link tree will be in the video description.